Hello, everybody. Uh-oh, I hear an echo. Can you guys hear an echo? Different setup today. Hopefully nobody can hear that besides me. But hello, everyone. How are you doing today? I am here with Pink and Maine. My name is Libby. I see some friends in the comments. Brianne, Lee, Peggy, Denise, Dorothy. Hello, hello. Can you guys let me know if you're hearing this echo that I'm hearing? Because if so, I need to switch something up. Hi, Linda. Hi, Mary. Brianne's hearing a little bit of an echo. Okay. Darn it. See, I was charging my phone and I didn't get it quite charged. And so I have it plugged in, and that means I can't plug in my earphones, which I normally do. So, okay, it looks like the majority of you are saying no echo. So maybe I'm just going to ignore it. And if it is there, hopefully it's just a teeny slight thing that isn't too annoying. Sounds like it might be okay. Hi, everyone. Hello, everyone. So I have a plan for today. I didn't make the card ahead, so we'll see if my plan becomes a reality or not. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my overhead camera. All right. So these are some of the things I'm going to use today. It's not Friday, but I'm going to foil anyway because I love foiling. I think it's so much fun. And so what I'm going to do today, I want to work with this really cool emboss and cut folder. It's called Holly and Berries Emboss and Cut. So what that means is there's dies right here in the embossing folder. So it makes the impression of these leaves and holly, and then it also cuts it out at the same time. So for example, here's one that I cut out of white just to show you what you get, which is really cool, right? But instead of doing it out of white, I wanted to make my own foil cardstock. And so that's what I'm going to foil today, is just a reminder that all those foils that you have, if you have the toner sheets, you can make whatever color of foiled cardstock, foil cardstock that you want. And so that's what I'm going to do today. So I'm going to set some of the stuff off to the side. I'm going to make some red and some green to go with that holly. So I haven't tried this. I haven't made a panel of it and then die cut it with the emboss and cut folder. But in my head, it should work great, right? So I just pulled out my silver toner sheets. It doesn't matter because I'm covering up the whole thing. I thought I'd save my black and white since I use them more often. And then, of course, at Pink and Maine, we have ombre. We have different colors. We have all kinds of different toner sheets that you can use to foil on. Hi, Connie. Hello, everybody. Peggy says I'm killing her crafting budget. Well, I certainly don't mean to do that. I guess I do in a way, but I'm probably going to need to make a few sheets of this, actually, maybe 3. I'm going to cut this down. Just set this over to the side. And let me get my my Mink. This is my mini Mink that I use. It has an on-off switch on the back that I'm going to turn on. And then I'm going to put it on 3, which is what I use for foiling. You can play with it to see what works great for you, but usually 3 is my go-to. And I'm going to cut these panels down. So let me get my trimmer. So these are 5.5 by 8.5 panels. So if in a perfect world, I wish they were 6 by whatever. But I'm just going to make them 6 by 5.5. And the reason I say that is that fits in the folder. The embossing folder is 6 by 6, I believe, right? So I might have to lose a little bit of one of these. Yeah, darn it. I need it to be 6 by 6 to cover the whole thing. So I'm off camera, but it's not going to cover the whole thing just because these panels are a little too small. But that's okay. We'll get enough out of here to make it work eventually. So let me keep cutting these down. I think I'm only going to need 1 of red and maybe 2 of green. I also haven't made such a big panel all at once before. In my Mink, let's see here. That's going to go like right out to the edge, but that should be fine. So have you guys all had a great weekend? What did you guys do this weekend? I went up to a local, somewhat local, an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes away store here in Georgia called Scrappy Shack. And I did a foiling demo. So that was fun. I got to show people, and they were a great crowd. They were having a holiday. I don't remember exactly what they called it, but an event, which was like a little retreat up there where people were sitting at tables all day creating fun things. And I was just like the lunchtime demo and showed them how to foil. So, ooh, Denise says she went to Sedona. That's one of my very favorite places in Arizona. I cut that little edge off because I don't know if you saw, but I kind of ran my fingernail on it and mucked it up, you know, a little bit. So I didn't want to use that piece because I scratched the foil basically. So you do have to be somewhat careful with this. You don't want to be scratching off the beautiful part of the foil. But anyway, I had a lot of fun. It was a great crowd of people. I can't say ladies because there was at least one guy there taking the classes, which is awesome. And they were the perfect audience for foiling because they were oohing and eyeing when I showed them the things. So that was fun. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get one of these going. I'll cut out the red in a second as well. When you do your foiling, so this is the toner side of my panel. See, it's white on the back. Toner side up, and what you need is that toner to react with the foil. If you haven't foiled this kind of foil before, this is the kind that uses a mink or a laminator or a similar tool like that. We love our mink because it was designed specifically for foiling, and so it's, you know, the right tool for the job. I can see fuzzes on here. So what you're doing is you're having the foil react with the toner as it goes through the mink, which applies heat and pressure, and transfer the foil to the toner paper. Am I even talking? I'm like thinking and talking, and I don't know. I hope I'm making complete sentences here. But anyway, on the toner side of the cardstock, you want to put the foil pretty side up because you think of it, you want it to be covered in this beautiful green foil when you are done sending it through. So it only makes sense that you would have that pretty side up. Otherwise, you're not going to have anything pretty when you're done, right? Now, I use my little brush to brush off the foil because you don't want to have anything come between the foil and your toner page. If there's little bits of dust or anything, those will make it so that your foil is not transferring. And I have a hunch in such a huge panel like this, I'm going to probably have a little bit of something that's going to leave a mark, but that's okay. We'll work around that. I'm not worried about it. I am cutting off some of the edge of this just because it's wider than my envelope and I don't want it to get jammed in the machine as it goes through. And I use my adorable little brush that I love. It's so cute. Just makes me happy. Makes me happy. Let's see. Sedona, talk about Sedona. Hi, Virginia. Lee was finishing up Christmas cards from the last OCC class. If you guys haven't done that, OCC is online card classes. I'm sure you probably know, but just in case you don't, that's the class website run by Jennifer McGuire and Christina Werner, and they do fantastic classes with their friends in the industry and good stuff. I am close to the edge on this side. So let's cross our fingers I don't get a jam because I have much more space over here. You do want to center your little plastic sleeve that I put this in as you send it through. It's been a lot of years since I've been out to Sedona, but I love it there. It's beautiful. Alrighty. Now this whole big panel is pretty hot from going through the machine, which again applies pressure and heat. So I let that cool off a little before I peel it off. So let me go ahead and set that aside and I'll get the next one through. And then we can look at the first one and see how it turned out. So again, oopsie, everything's falling over here that you can't see off camera. All right, I'm going to brush it off with my little brush here, just lightly dusting it off. Get off as much as I can. Is there anyone who's watching that hasn't seen this kind of foiling before? Is it your first time? If I'm not answering all the questions or explaining it well, just let me know. I know some of my regulars here have heard me talk about it a million times now. Linda's still finishing her cards from Crop and Create. That's awesome. Another fabulous event full of classes that I was lucky enough to teach at this year. Okay. Now, the other thing I didn't mention, I don't think, is that you want to make sure that you don't have toner in your little folder here that is not covered by foil, because that will transfer to your envelope or whatever you want to call it, your little plastic sleeve. This plastic sleeve comes with the mink, and you can also buy extra ones. They're on Pink and Main. You can buy bigger ones too, which I need to get one of the bigger ones. I keep forgetting, so that I could do like the whole panel all at once and not have to cut it down. Right. Letting this go through. And so essentially I'm just making some green foiled cardstock by using foil and my toner sheets. And that's something to remember too. If you wanted to use one of your message dies, one of your word dies, like let's say you had a background that you did, a foilable that you did with this color of foil that's like some kind of pattern. Oh, look, you can see it as a mirror. Here's my phone. Anyway, you could make a sheet like this and then die cut your message if you had a message die you wanted to use. And then it would coordinate perfectly with your background that you foiled, if that makes sense. Okay, let's see how this did. Ooh, look at all those. Okay, Libby did not do a good job. That means there was a lot of dust on there. That's kind of a bummer, but I still think it'll be okay. I'm gonna forge through and do my little holly leaves with this anyway. But yeah, look at all that. With something this big, honestly, I might should have went and got a Swiffer cloth just to really do a good job, since I'm doing something so gigantic. I love my brush. It makes me happy. I would rather use it anytime. But to make sure that I didn't have any dust on there, it might have been a good job to grab a Swiffer, because look at all that. I couldn't even see that with my eyeballs. Now, this little piece here, you could always save that if you wanted and use that on something that's, you know, a good size to do a message on one of the little foilables. So you can keep like a little packet of, yeah, I got some boo-boos on that one as well. All right, I'm going to go grab a Swiffer to see if I get a better, you know, whatever, better not dusting. Just pretend there's snowflakes. There you go. I might put sequins, or I could put some glitter. Who knows? We'll see. I'm going to go grab a Swiffer though. Hold on a second. So just so you know, I walked across my room to grab one, and there's some right below me that I totally forgot about. I also was using tons and tons of glitter. If you guys remember, if you joined me on Friday, we were like using loose glitter, and I have little particles everywhere from glitter for sure. Okay, there's that. I'm doing this now, but I really have to cut out my red as well. But that was a good demo to show you what happens when you have things in between your foil and your toner panel. Oh, well. As we like to say in my craft room, from my friend Lydia, perfectionist for serial killers. And I am definitely not one of those. Glitter does linger forever, Susie, for sure, for sure. But I think it's worth it. I don't mind. Ooh, look what I did. That was on me. I'm going to use it anyway. I don't care. But can you see how I made a little mess of that foil? Where I wrinkled it, it has like a little spot there that's definitely going to show up. But that's okay. That's okay. You can hear Lydia saying that. Lydia Fiedler, if you guys don't know which Lydia I'm talking about. But if you know Lydia, you've probably heard her say that before. I'm going to trim that little bit off to make it not quite as wide. Okay, one thing I noticed when I flipped it over is that this toner panel isn't quite all the way in my envelope. So I'm going to scoot it down a little, just so it's not hanging out of the end of it. And now we're doing our red. We'll see if this one does a little better. My room is so dusty, who knows? And I don't even think my air filter's on. I have an air filter that I have going in here just to help with the dust situation, but I don't think it's even on, so I'm sure that didn't help either. Do you guys have an air filter and, like air purifier? I don't know what the word is, but I was cleaning last week in here and I was sweeping my floor, which I don't want to admit how long it had been since I swept my floor. And I had the air purifier on the automatic setting. And so it would like rev up when I was sweeping. Like it was wild. I never thought about that before, but it could tell when I was stirring up dust and it would rev up the engine on it or something. Look at that. I still got some. So I will say doing such a huge panel like this is harder. So if you want it to be perfect, you're going to have to work really hard to make it perfect. But I don't mind. It's going to be fine for these berries. We're going to have fun with it. I think I'm going to go ahead and turn off my mink and set it aside, and then we'll see what else I need to do. If I need to turn it back on and make more, we'll figure that out. So if you got here after I said, what I'm planning to do is use this Holly and Berries embossing cut folder, and I'm going to cut out some of these hollies. That almost looks like it fits, but I don't think it will. Let's see. I want to at least make sure I get one of them fully on this. Probably gonna need more panels for the card I was thinking of making, but who knows? Maybe we'll pivot a little. All right, let me get my die cutting machine. And that's really big on screen. I know it's hard to see anything, but so I have this in my panel. When you put an embossing folder through, you always want to make sure you're going seam first. And so that's what I'm doing. And what I found works good on my machine is I put a few shims of cardstock, and then I just put one of the cutting plates, and that's how I get the embossing cuts to cut well. Hopefully it works when I'm live, but we'll see. But it is, it is a grind. It is like, having to crank it. Let's see. Pink and Main, Connie's asking if Pink and Main will be having a Black Friday sale. There will be some kind of Black Friday something. I'm not sure if it's going to be a sale or a freebie or what yet, but there will be something. Okay, here's something that I didn't think about when I imagined this card. It cracked a little. So can you see there's some cracks in my foil? Oh, yeah. This is going to look a little more rustic than I was thinking. All right, on the second one, I'll try spritzing the back and see if that makes a difference. I don't know if it will on this toner paper, but we'll try it. So off screen, I'm just taking my spritzer bottle, and I just gave the back side of this cardstock a little bit of a spritz to see if that helps keep it from doing what that one did, which was cracking. It did make it curl, I can tell you that much. Fun. Usually, Brianne's asking, would it be better to cut first and foil second? In this case, it definitely might have been. Usually, Michelle says to cut second because the little, you know how when you die cut, you get that little edge, and that could make it so you don't get good foil on the edge. But since this is something a little different, that it's such a solid, I'm making the embossing in it as well. I didn't think about the fact that the embossing might crack. I think if I don't do as many shims, Linda, that is a good plan. But I think if I do less shims, it won't cut all the way through. Gives it character. Hi, Scrappa Latte. Scrappa Latte, if you guys don't know, is a great store in New York. I think they're on outside of the city. I don't know exactly where you are. I don't know if that's Renee or somebody else from Scrapple Latte, but they are on one of the islands, I think, somewhere in the New York area. So let's try this. Guys, why did I do that? I need to still cut the red. Mary asked, what about an embossing pad? If I used an embossing pad, it wouldn't cut. It would take away the ability to cut it. So that's the problem with this, is that it's emboss and cut. So I'm getting either, a good cut and some cracked embossing. Long Island. I thought you were Long Island, but I didn't want to say the wrong thing. So Renee is the owner of that great store. If you're in that area, it's a good one to go shop at. And I know that they're a great customer of Pink and Main as well. They carry a lot of Pink and Main. So Paula, this one I did moisten the back of the cardstock. It's a shiny kind of cardstock, so it didn't really help, I don't think. We come up with these ideas and sometimes they just don't go exactly how your brain was thinking. But I think it'll be fine. So my plan is I might use a glitter cardstock for the background, was to kind of build up a little background with these like this. Maybe I don't have to do more than that. Maybe that will be good. But it looks weird right now because it's all green. So let's make our red berries. So I'm going to need, I only made one sheet of that, but it doesn't take up as much space as the green. So I'm hoping I can just kind of cut some pieces and put them in there. Maybe I'll just cut this into 4 quarters. Paula, no worries. That was a good suggestion. I didn't do it on the first one, and then I tried it, and it didn't really make any difference. And I don't know if I even said, but the cardstocks that I used, or the foils I used, are cherry red is the red, and then the green is called Evergreen. Okay, put these on here. I might have to do them separately. I don't want to, well, let's see here. There's that, there's that. That should be fine, but I'm just going to trim this off because it won't fit through if it's hanging off. The end should be fine though. Okay. They'll be my rustic berries. Rustic berry. That sounds like it would be a Tim Holtz color. Is that a distress color? I don't know. They are still so shiny and pretty, aren't they? Even though they're a little rustic. Woo, that was loud. That bang. That was loud. Okay, here's our berries. And so my plan was that I would cut around the berries and kind of layer them on top of the green. So that's why I'm not worrying about doing this whole panel. So let me get one more cut out and then we can proceed with our card. Okay. Again, I'm going to just trim that side off real quick. I'm not really on camera, but I'm trimming the side off so that it fits through my die cutting machine. Ooh, some lunar paste. Yeah, I'll have to think about. I'll show you what I was going to do with these. We'll see if it looks any good, but then we can think about if there's anything we want to put on it. I could even maybe go over those spines of the veins of the leaves with stickles or something. This may be the shiniest card I've ever made by the end of it. We'll see, because I'm going to show you guys. I was thinking of putting it on glitter cardstock, but let's see what we think looks better in a second here. Okay. I'm curious, our foil, like if you have foil cardstock, is it usually white core or is it like silver? If you had like red foil cardstock, is it red all the way through, or is it white core? So I'm curious if you just had regular, excuse me, foil cardstock, if it also would have cracked like this, you know? Not really sure. Yeah, some wax could be cool too. Lots of possibilities here. So here's what I have after all that. They are pretty though, I have to say, even if they are a little rustic. They have dots from the from my foiling. They have cracks, but I just like to make my things look homemade. You know what I'm saying? That's my excuse, and I'm sticking with it. I didn't cut that very round. Okay, so that one is that one. So that's the idea. I wanted to just put it over top of it. Looks pretty cool. Yeah. I think people are saying it's usually white core, which makes sense. You wouldn't have a, I don't know, maybe you could, oh shoot, I did that one wrong. Got a little sidetracked with thinking about white core on foil. Oopsie. So let me get these done real quick, and then I'll show you what I was thinking for this card layout. So how many of you are making, or have you already made, all your holiday cards? Are you making handmade cards to send out for the holidays? I am not. We usually do a photo card and send it, but we haven't even done a family photo, so I don't even know what we're doing this year. I swear the holidays have snuck up on me very, very quickly this year. Am I the only one feeling like that? It's like we blinked and it's almost Thanksgiving. Was that haha very funny, Renee, about actually sending handmade cards? Because that's kind of how I feel about it. Denise is making Thanksgiving cards, and Mary finished hers in September. Man, you guys are awesome. Someday I'll be good like you. I'm like the, what do they say? The shoemaker whose kids have no shoes or whatever. I'm like the card maker whose friends and family get no cards, which is terrible. I'm going to save those just for now, just because they're pretty. I feel like I want to take these scraps here from the red foiling and just like have a little die cutting session and cut out a bunch of little red hearts from a heart die, because I think those would be really pretty. And, you know, we're going to blink again and it'll be Valentine's Day. So we might as well get that done, right? This is all, okay. So this one has the 3 little marks on the berries. So that one goes on here, although it's like a little puzzle to put together. That's how it goes. And this was the 3 marks. Wow, these are pretty. I have to say, they are very pretty. I'm just reading your comments for a second here. Denise has a grandbaby. How sweet. Susie made some and she's going back for more because she forgot some people. That's really good. Okay. Let me get these glued together and then I'll maybe hold them up. So I don't know, are you guys getting the full effect of how pretty these are? Because they're just shiny and kind of amazing. And I'd shown you guys the white one at the beginning. If you weren't here at the beginning, I showed just a white cardstock holly that I cut out. I don't know where I set it, but it was fine. It wasn't cracked or anything. So it's literally because I was doing the foil that it did that. See? Or it just doesn't show as much, I guess. But you could also just die cut it from white and color it with your markers. You could do it with different, just regular cardstock rather than foiled cardstock, but the foil is just so pretty. Look at that. I love them, even if they're not perfect. So I'm trying to think what else I did this weekend. Yesterday I did a whole bunch of nothing. I sat around watching Downton Abbey all day, which is terrible. I only have 50 million things to do, but you know, sometimes you just need days like that, right? Yes. Renee's saying these would look great on a scrapbook page for sure. These are like some great homemade embellishments or ephemera that you could have to decorate a page. That'd be really pretty. Some of these cut off. Oh, that one cut off. I'm like trying to see. I want to make sure I know which ones are cut off from the way I had the paper in there. Okay, so now what I was going to do. So now I have these beautiful hollies that I love. And I want to put them on like the background of a card base. And I don't know if I want to do it on white. So you guys kind of take a look and see what you think. Here it is on white. I'm just going to kind of, I don't know, I like to do this with die cuts where you put it all over and then you trim the sides and it's kind of a background made with all that. There we go. But I also got out the glitter pack. This is the winter glitter paper, which has really pretty colors of glitter cardstock. And I was thinking out of these colors of putting it on silver. So then we have like shimmer on top of shimmer. But is that too much? Is silver too much? Do we like the white better? I need to cut that down to A2. But what do you guys think? Am I going a little wacky with that? Of adding too much shimmer and shine? I'm going to see what you guys say for a second here. It is awfully pretty. I could do it on gold too. I just grabbed out the silver, but we could try gold. Ooh, maybe that looks more rich. Dorothy says silver. Lee says love it. Jennifer says silver. But I don't know if that's before I threw gold in the mix. I'm going to wait another second. Still seeing silver, silver, silver. All right, I'm going to go with silver. There's another silver. Okay, I think I'm going to go with silver. Oh, now we're getting golds. There's still more silvers. I might have to make a second one later and do both because they're so pretty. The other thing is, do I want to have this as a panel kind of popped up on a, yeah, I'm going to do that one step smaller. Now, since I did that, I have some nice little slivers of glitter cardstock that could be a little border on something else I make. Since I decided to make that even smaller, I would never throw away any of this glitter cardstock because it's way too pretty. So that will be something I can use later. The gold is awfully pretty as well. I do agree. All right. So I'm just going to start gluing these down. It has the texture to it, so I do want to make sure that I'm getting the glue on the raised up portions, because that's really what's going to make the most contact with the paper. But there's that first one. Just use my block here to put down on top of it. That's the one that I kind of messed up, so I'll only use that one if I need it. I am putting more glue than I kind of need, so some of it's going to, I'm gluing it to my glass mat a little. Do that one like that. Then while that glue is still wet, I'm going to go ahead and trim this down. This one I can kind of put right here. Not sure how I'm liking this. We'll see what we think. I'm just trimming off the excess. Whoa, okay, that one's not glued on enough. Don't rush the process. I did want to take one to put down here. Get back up on screen. So you see what I'm doing here to make my little background on my card. Just letting this dry for a second here. Do you guys ever do this with die cuts? Just put them all over your background and trim off the edges to fill it up. That's one of my, I don't know, that's kind of one of the things I like to go to often. I think it's fun. So that glue dries pretty quickly. So I think the side is ready to go. But not that bottom one. Let's not rush it. Being too impatient for this card. So then I need to figure out what to put on top of the card. And I did grab out some foilables, which I might do. I don't know if that's going to be too much foil. Can we have too much foil though, honestly? Is that such a thing? So I grabbed this, which was from this fall, which is Christmas Sentiments, Foilables Cut-Ups, and it has all those great messages in it. And again, these are printed with toner, so you can just take any foil and put it on there. And I was thinking I would do one with red letters. What am I trying to say? Since there's a lot more green on the card, I thought I'd do red. And then I did one where it's just the words rather than it being the solid part is black. If it was solid, then that would be all red in the background with white letters. But I thought that might be a little too much with everything else going on with the foil. I thought just having a message might be better. Could do one like that. This one's Holly Jolly, so it's kind of cute. It kind of goes. I could get out a little twine or something to put around with it, or I could put a band of vellum. Those are some of the things I'm thinking through. Let's see if we're dry enough yet. I think so. And I just use scissors to trim off these extra parts. I think it's easy to do it this way. You could certainly put it in your paper trimmer if you don't like having to use the scissors like this. And I love these Spellbinder scissors. I've mentioned many a time. They're so nice. They cut so well, and they're Teflon or whatever, I don't know, to be easy cleanup with all this glue. Non-stick, I guess, is the word I was looking for. So look at how fun that panel is. Love it. It's so shiny and pretty. Now I have more pieces parts that I could use for something else if I want to. I have a little glue on my desk. Let me see if I can clean that up real quick. Let's see if water will get that. Sorry for the squeaky noises. Yep, that took that right off. Okay, so here we are with our beautiful panel. I did make it slightly smaller so that I can mount it up on a white base to give it a little frame. And then if I put, is that too small though? That's the only thing I'm not sure about. Could do it right up there where there's no berries, although there's already 3. This, you guys know, this is where I struggle sometimes. It's like, okay, let's bring the card home. We got this far. We can do it. All right, I'm going to grab my ink and do a little red foil on that message and see what we think of it. So I'm going to turn it back on. Back to 3. Another little piece of foil. And I've mentioned before, but the foil comes with 25 feet of foil on a roll. So that is just a ton of foil. It lasts a very, very long time. Why do I keep doing that? Not having my best foil day today. Maybe because it's not Friday. Maybe I'm only supposed to foil on Fridays. I don't know. And oh yeah, it was this one. Maybe I'll do a couple, because then if I can audition some things, and then I can just have them in my stash for later, because I am sure I will want them eventually. I did like that one as well. That's probably too big though. Yep, I cut my foil too small for that one. Does that one fit? I don't know. We'll just try these and see. Don't shift on me. This one, the fun font with Mary. I really like this one. I don't know, I didn't cut my foil big enough for that one. Is that too big? I don't know. Could always go back and do that one if we love that one. I'm not sure I'm going to put anything else on my leaves. I might just leave them like that, even though they have the white. What do you guys think? Not sure. Would stickles on all those leaves be too much? You know what I could do is I could practice on one of these and see what I think of it before I commit to my actual card. I hope my thing was on green. I didn't even pay attention to see if it was heated up completely. Were you guys noticing? I hope it was already at 3 when I started sending it through. I was not paying attention. Those both turned out perfectly, so it must have been okay. Now, when these are cut at Pink and Main, they are, you know, kind of, there's a machine that trims them or cuts them, and sometimes you get little white attachment thingies still on there, and I just take a scissor and very carefully trim those off. No big deal. And I love the cut-ups because they make it so quick and easy to add things to your cards, your pages, whatever it is you're working on. It's like your own homemade foiled ephemera. I'm sorry, I'm off camera. I'm just trimming off these little white bits. I do think I like the little circle one. I think that's cute. All right, so I could take, we of course have glitter. I could do loose glitter and put green glitter on there on top of all that. Should I do that? Maybe I should have done it before I put it down. Because the other thing I was thinking is this stickles. Not sure that would even hide it really. Nah, that wouldn't hide it. Still looks white. I just don't know if I add glitter to that, if it's going to be too much, because I already put that glitter all over the background, you know? I might just leave it. I still think it's pretty, even if my gold foil is a little cracked. Not gold foil, green foil. Goodness, I can't even talk today. Okay, I'm gonna, oops, no, that's okay. I was thinking that's where I put the stickles, but that was on that other sheet. I'm going to get out my foam roll. This is my foam tape from Pink and Main. It came on a gigantic foil, a gigantic roll, which is still pretty big, but it's getting smaller and smaller as I do these lives. And I love to pop things up. So I'm going to pop up this panel onto my white panel. I hope with this live, despite my boo-boos, my missed spots all over my foiling and my cracked foil, you can see that you can still, oopsie, you guys. I'm having a day. I dropped that, if you didn't catch that. All right, scratch for that one. Yes, I do enjoy doing the lives. I'm sorry if it doesn't seem like it, Linda. I'm butterfingers today. I hope it seems like I do enjoy it, because I do. But I like to put glue on the back of my foam just to help it have a little wiggle room, but then I dropped it, which is not what I recommend you do. It feels like a Monday. And I hope you guys don't mind that I'm kind of testing things out as I go on this. So, you know, not everything is pre-planned and perfect. So I hope you like that. I hope it helps with the learning process to see what can happen with different things tried. I don't mind being the guinea pig for you guys at all. Linda, I'm glad it seems like it. It's, you know, I work alone in my craft room, or in my, you know, office/craft room all day, every day. So it's fun to go live, because then I'm actually talking to other crafters, right? Even if it is me talking to your typing, it does still make it a little less lonely up in here. So if I go over that far, it covers up that dot. Hopefully that's not way too up in the corner. Maybe it is. as she screws it all up. The other thing is I got out sequins. I don't know if that would be too much, but we could try some sequins on here as well, even clear ones. Let's see. Happy little accidents. That's right, Susie. I make lots of happy little accidents. Let's audition some sequins and see. Because we might as well do all the bling possible on this card, right? Might as well. I could put a sequin right there and it kind of hides that dot and you'll just never even know that it wasn't supposed to be like that. I don't know if these clear just kind of get lost in all this, but they're kind of pretty. What do you guys think? Sequins too? I think it out silver sequins. I kind of like the clear though. They're there and shiny and pretty, but kind of subtle. Linda says no sequins. Is that what we should go with? Just leave well enough alone. Is that too much? I don't know. Okay. This is what we have. I think it's really pretty, personally. Can you get all that shine? There we go. There's some shine. Okay, I think we're going to say that's good for today. I might make this card again with without the foil, which is regular cardstock, and see how it looks as well. But I think it's pretty. And let me go ahead and go back over here. So that was our card for today. I hope you guys liked it. I had fun making it. Even if it wasn't the most perfect card ever, it's still really, really pretty. And I will take a picture of that and get it posted on my Instagram, which is Create with Libby. And maybe it will share to the Pink and Main channel as well. And thank you guys for being here. So I didn't put the schedule out for the week yet, but it's Caitlin is live on Tuesday and Thursday at 8:30 p.m. and Demo Donna is going to be here on Wednesday at 8 p.m. These are Eastern time zone. And then I'll be back on Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern for Foiling Friday. I might do Wednesday as well. I'm not sure though, because we already have 5 lives during the week and that's a lot. So I don't want to overdo it with you guys. You know what I'm saying? I will show you one thing I was working on earlier, which is coming soon. I was playing with the cute little house that we have in this coming up. So Friday's release day, a little reminder of that. And look what I was making, you guys. I was making a purple house. Let me go back to my overhead. I wanted to show you guys. So I tried making siding. I used my scoreboard to just make lines across it and to make siding. Isn't that cute? So I need to make a card now with my purple house, but it made me happy. So, and here's all the little pieces parts I had left over. I might need to do a blue house because I couldn't decide what I wanted to do with that. But anyway, that's another thing I was working on. Fun, fun, fun. So watch for ideas all week and watch for our release coming on Friday. And we will see you guys again soon. All right. One more time, I'll say bye-bye. Thanks for watching and take care, everybody.